Hello, my friends. How are you doing? Are you in the middle of a storm? Have you just come out of a storm? Or perhaps you're maybe on your way into the storm. I wish that the Christian life sometimes that we didn't have to deal with so many different storms. But Jesus actually said, in this world, you will have trouble. You will have trouble. There is going to be storms. And there were storms for the disciples. And there's going to be storms for you when you're becoming a follower of Jesus. Even when you're obedient to him, there's going to be storms. But know that storms are different than serpents. The one story that comes to my mind is from Mark 4, starting in verse 35. When the disciples, Jesus says, let us go to the other side. Many people, we had words, 2020 for 2020. This is the year of breakthrough. And with all those words, and then Jesus maybe has spoken words of prophecy over your life, but then you start on the journey. And instead of going from a mountaintop to another mountaintop, you end up in the middle of a storm. Congratulations. Welcome to the school of rest, the hard work of rest. He says in this season, come to me, all of you who are weary and heavy laden. I will give you rest. My burden is easy, not yours. My burden is easy, and my yoke, when I'm carrying it, it is light, because I will give you rest. Learn from me, because I am low and meek, or humble in heart. Learn from his heart. It's the only time you find it in the New Testament that you can become a student of his heart, and he will then give you rest for your soul. We need rest for our soul. We need to be releasing from our soul this very beautiful resting place. And then I was thinking, these disciples, wow, following Jesus. And guess what? Jesus is in the boat. And let me just tell you, he is in your boat. And then storms happen, physical storms. I had just recently a few new storms. There's the bronchitis. Then the COVID hit. And here's the next thing, and before you know it, I have the superior canal, and before you know, storm after storm after storm, including I'm in the middle of a little storm right now. And in the middle of that storm, we can get so overwhelmed by the storm that we forget to become overwhelmed by him. Actually, sometimes we are just going to be like the disciple. We have forgot about who is in the boat. We get so focusing on how much water comes in, how strong the wind is, the diagnosis, what happens around us, all the bad news that is taking place, that we get so overwhelmed by fear that we have forgotten that Jesus says, come. And who can come? The ones that are struggling, the ones that are in the middle of the storm, the ones that is weary, the one that is heavy laden. The qualification to experiencing total rest is that you're in the middle of a storm. And this is the interesting, so these disciples, the Bible says they were afraid. But Jesus, well, the Bible says that he brought his cushion. Are you bringing your cushion? As the storms is going to continue in 2023, I just want you to be aware of it. There's going to be some storms. But are you learning the hard work of rest? Because watch what Jesus is doing. What word did he speak before the storm? Second, what is Jesus doing? I know it's easy to tell me what the devil is doing, what the politicians are doing. And it is also easy for us to be distracted by what Jesus is not doing, because we can see what he is doing. In this storm, he is asleep. He's at rest, deep rest. How could you be at rest, Jesus, when everything around us is drowning? Let me tell you the secret. Because where his Father is, there is rest. So in this world, there is shaking. In this world, there are storms. But he found a resting place, because when he was looking at the Father that is keeping this whole universe together, that's his Papa. Now the Father is at rest, I can rest. And then when they wake him up, and he says, why are you afraid? It's like a swimmer. Why are you wet? Isn't it obvious we are afraid? We're drowning, we are dying. And Jesus then speaks to the storm. And he speaks to the storms that is around him, because there's no storm on the inside. So what God is doing for us in this season, this is the daily bread. This is what I wanted for you to feast on. Take these 5 minutes with you and let it become life for you in this season, because he will navigate you. And by the way, on the other side, there is a breakthrough. On the other side, there is revival. On the other side, when you have found a rest, you're going to wear the enemy out. And there was a demonized person that led to transformation of a region that became the byproduct as a result that came from the resting place. Let rest be your weapon of warfare, and out of rest, wear the enemy out, and learn to speak to the storms that is around you, because there's no longer storm on the inside. Let him deal with the things that is coming out, and don't hold on to it. Let go. Surrender. In the place of surrender, there is a place of exchange.